Okay, today's assignment or lesson deals with y equals mx plus b and the slope of lines and maybe something else that we'll catch along the way here. If you look at exercise number 1, it says the equation of the line graphed below is y equals 4x plus 2, and they want to know what the slope of this line is. And we've done that before. As long as this equation here is in the form y equals mx plus b, then the slope is very easy to find. You can find it right from the equation, or you can find it off of the graph. All right, and we know that m stands for slope. We've said that before. And so my slope, real easy, is 4. All right, so that makes my slope a 4. Okay. Now, it also asks some other things here. What are the coordinates of the point where the graph crosses the y-axis? So if I go over here to the graph, remember this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, and we want to know the point right where this graph crosses the y-axis. So like I've done before, I'm gonna circle that point right there, and we just simply want to know the coordinates of that point. All right, so that is the point 0, comma 2. All right. Now, we give that point a special name. Whenever a graph of a line crosses the y-axis, we call that the y-intercept. Okay, and we call it the y-intercept simply because it's crossing the y-axis, and the word intercept itself means to cross something, or to run into something, or to cross over something. So the y-intercept is just simply where that line crosses the y-axis. Now, you could take this a little further, and you could assign the x-axis, all right, or the x-intercept, and that is where it crosses the x-axis. But we'll talk more about that later. All right. Now it does say. Now look back at the equation, and do you see something in common? And what they're saying in common with is in common with this y-intercept here. And if you take a look at the equation, well, there's your slope. You've already used that. And if you look at the other number in the equation, well, there's a 2. And my y-intercept happens to cross the y-axis at 0, comma 2. And those came up to be the same. That's not a coincidence. All right. Now at the y-intercept, the x value is always going to be 0. All right, because you're right on the y-axis. All right, so that x value is always going to be 0. So sometimes they will say the y-intercept is 2. All right, they'll abbreviate it, I guess you could call that. They'll say, well, the y-intercept of this line is just 2, and actually they should be saying the whole coordinate of the y-intercept is 0, comma 2. But what we're trying to get through here is that when I'm in the form y equals mx plus b, all right. In fact, we're gonna write it again down here. We'll switch over, and I'll put it in red. When you're in the form y equals mx plus b for any line, any linear equation, well, this is always your slope. We said that before. But the b over here, the b is always your y-intercept. Okay, and the y-intercept always has a x-coordinate of 0, and then whatever that b is, it goes right here. All right, and that's where you're going to cross the y-axis. All right, but the key is, okay, the key is you have to be in the form y equals mx plus b, and we did that those kind of problems before where we had to actually change. We had to change the equation to make it in that form. All right. So very simple, pretty straightforward. And so let's turn this one off, and let's see what we can do with the other example here. All right, and here's your other example. Same thing, the equation of the line graphed below is y equals negative 2x minus 5. So is it in the form y equals mx plus b? Well, if I, again, write this below here, y equals mx plus b, it sure is. All right, because here's y, here's your equal sign. In this case, m is negative 2, and in this case, b is negative 5. All right, so what is the slope? Well, that's easy. Your slope is what m is. So your slope is going to be negative 2. And if you remember, when we said you had a negative slope, it went down to the right. Your graph went down to the right, which this one does. So the slope is negative 2. That's very easy. And the same thing as before. What are the coordinates of the point where the graph crosses the y-axis? Well, I'm going to circle it again. It's right here. And those are the coordinates. Remember, it's going to be 0 for the x all the time. And I just have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the point, 0, comma, negative 5. And did it work the same? Yeah, it did. Negative 5. If I look up here in my equation, well, negative 5, that is my y-intercept. So what we're saying is simply by seeing this equation, I'm going to write it again down here, you know, you don't even have to see the graph. You know that the y-intercept is a negative 5, and you know that the slope is a negative 2. All right, and the crux of it is you put it into this whoa, what happened there? Y equals mx plus b form. Okay, and as soon as it's in that form, then you can determine these two items. All right, so that really is it today. That's a real short video. What I expect for you to be able to do when you come in is to take an equation, y equals mx plus b, or an equation that can be put into y equals mx plus b, and identify the slope and identify the y-intercept. All right, or I could just give you a graph. All right, I could give you a graph and say find the slope, which you've done before, and also identify the y-intercept. Okay, so hopefully that was quick and easy for you. Hope you all have a good night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.